Good day, Kisonians. Today we're going to talk about the arts, particularly paintings of East Asian countries. The East Asian countries are the Chinese, the Japanese, and the Korean. Let's begin with the Chinese painting. Landscape paintings was the highest form of Chinese painting. Silk is the primary medium in painting. So silk is the canvas they use in painting. And the one that you see is an example of a landscape painting. Now, for the themes and subject of the Chinese painting, they love flowers and birds. And the one that we talked about a while ago, the landscape. What can you say on the simplicity of the painting? It is simple and yet very elegant. The use of space element on the canvas was perfect, and the calligraphy makes it more classic. Now, let's talk about another themes or subjects in the Chinese painting, and let's start with the palaces and temples. Now, observe the palace and temple painting. They still include mountains and skyline on the painting that makes it more landscape magnet on the eye. The human being painting with the calligraphy makes it like a poster with information or history of the subject on the painting. Another one is the animal, and they love panda because panda can only be found or endemic in China. And it's only in China that breed this beautiful bear. That is why they love it as a subject of their painting, and they include bamboo because bamboo is the favorite food of this beautiful creature. Now, observe the bamboo painting. It has a calligraphy. Bamboo also symbolizes strength in China. Now, the six principles of Chinese painting, according to Shihei, is they observe rhythm and movements. Number two, leave spaces for the eyes to rest. Looking at the Chinese painting with a lot of spaces makes it more relaxing. Number three, use brush in calligraphy. Yes, they always use brush, not sign pen, not the marker, but they only use brush. And they use colors correctly or accurately. Now, the colors that you see on the painting is the more closest to the subject itself. It needs to be similar, most likely closest to the color of the subject. Number 5, live up to tradition by copying the master's artwork. Yes, you heard it right. It is okay to the Chinese to copy the work of their master, but you have to copy the correct proportion of the objects and nature. Okay? Uh, if you can remember the painting with the bird and the tree or the flower, they need to be properly proportioned. It means that the bird should not be too large or the flower should not be too large to the size of the bird and vice versa. Okay? Now, let's proceed to the Japanese painting. Reflected a refined and serene dignity, is valued not only for its simplicity but also for its colorful exuberance. Yes, this might be simple, but as you can see on the detail, yes, as much as possible, they need to be like on the reality. So they need to be more precise on the detail of this painting. Japanese loves painting their old days of everyday life, and it was preserved because of this very detailed yet simple painting. Painting is small in size, but the subject fools your eyes to tell you that painting might be big. Traditional Japanese old days was preserved because of these paintings. As you can see, you don't have to explain, or the painter, they don't have to explain what's on the paint itself because the scenes already explain what they are doing. Let's talk about Korean paintings. Oppa. Korean paintings have subjects such as landscape, facial features, Buddhist topics, and emphasis on celestial observation in keeping with the rapid development of Korean astronomy. Mountains and water are important features in Korean landscape painting because it is a site for building temples and buildings. The one that you see is an example of everyday life on the Korea on the old days. Now, this one is an example of a landscape painting. Their landscape painting is almost film-like without color. Like in China, they also incorporate space to make your eyes relax and rest. Their minhwa, which is a traditional folk painting, is somehow like a comical painting, like in a manga of Japanese. Another Korean themes or subject is their four gracious plants. Korean loves bamboo painting as well, like in China, but they added the plum blossoms orchids and chrysanthemums, and they called it the four gracious plants in painting. Painting in portraits needs to be close to the subject. It needs to be more similar. It needs to be more realistic. Even the color of the subject. The one that you see is an example of a portrait painting of their ministers during the old Korean style. Well, that's all for today. Hope you enjoy our sample paintings. Thank you and God bless.